Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Saka here, and welcome back to another episode of Hearts of Iron 3. And when we last left off, we researched some more technology here. We're getting up to the mechanical computing machine, which will help our research efficiency. We're also in the next steps of industrial efficiency and production, as it is 1940, and that is a 1940 level tech. Once we get done with that, we may shift our goals to help improve our infantry even more, as the desert warfare equipment will be nice. But we need infantry support weapons at level 2, light artillery at level 2, and infantry anti-tank at level 2. Germany was doing a thing, as Germany do, moving up into Sweden when we last left off, and it looks like the Swedish forces are not going to prove much of a fight for Germany. They've got a foothold there, and they're just... You know, I'd be a little concerned about this unit here that Germany is sending through the front. In Hearts of Iron 4, I would try to get an encirclement for sure. He's sticking his neck out really far, but who am I to question the blitzkrieg, I guess it were. I'm expecting Sweden to fall fairly quickly, but that is way away from our borders. We're here in the Mideast, just north of Saudi Arabia, who we were watching kind of closely, because they are drifting toward the Axis powers, but also being pulled toward the Comintern, but really not drifting toward the Allies much. So they're going to head this way or that way. If Saudi Arabia or Persia or Turkey get pulled into the Axis powers, we may have some battles on our hands along this border. Let's take a look at the victory map mode. We have a victory point here and here and here. So I think if we can tie up Persia in the north, then we can make a beeline with this mechanized infantry and try to take some of these victory points away from Persia. But that's neither here nor there yet. We'll see if Persia decides to jump in the war, as well as Saudi Arabia. Now we have these United Kingdom forces in Egypt and along this coastline here, and even French to help us out. So we don't have to go it alone if that indeed is a thing. Looking at our production, August of 1940 is when our factory is going to be made. We're at 46% efficiency now, but as these upgrades go down further and further, we can increase the focus of production to the factory and may be able to squeeze it out a little bit later. But we are less than 6 months away. We are 5 months away from improving our industrial capacity up, and we'll get practical knowledge of how to build a factory. So the next factory we build will be cheaper and be faster because we've built one before. Let's see, Sweden. And there we go. Sweden has given up, as I had anticipated. So now they are they a German puppet? They're at war with Greece, a truce with Germany. They're a member of the Axis and a puppet of Germany. So Germany's keeping Sweden alive, but their victory points now belong to them. It would be interesting to see if Norway decides to push in. Norway is a member of the Allies, so if the British can get a foothold here in Norway and push back the Germans, it would be just as simple to take back Sweden for the Allies as it was for the Axis, I believe. I don't see the German advance here, but the German army could be in this fog of war. And interestingly enough, the Soviet Union hasn't really moved on anything yet. I guess the tipping point would be if Germany breaks their non-aggression pact and declares war, then the Comintern might be fighting Germany, but also the Allies. So that's something to keep in mind, as the Soviet Union is just right there on our northern border. They have to go through Persia and Turkey, but there's only one province that separates us from the Soviet Union in both countries. So that may be a thing. That's why I've got our units right here on the northern border dug in and reinforcing as best as they can. These guys have everything they need. These guys have everything they need. So the game sort of, you know, very smartly said, the troops to the north are going to need that stuff first. So get them the upgrades and then trickle down the rest the closer to the headquarters, which makes sense. You want your frontline troops to have the best. The infantry anti-tank weapons are trickling in here, as well as the small arms. We've almost got complete small arms for this brigade, and slowly but surely building in that brigade as well. I believe the headquarters is fine on its own. They have everything that they need because they're supporting those units up there. And then lo and behold, these poor guys, we have the motorized division improving their light artillery. And it looks like they, and their small arms. And then the other division here that is sitting is the infantry division. They are improving their light artillery as well. So a lot of light artillery going out, which is all well and good. That's eating into our upgrade here. The prohibit establishment of new parties, you say. There's been a long ongoing discussion in our government for some time in regards to whether new organizations such as trade unions and political parties should be allowed to form. Several of our ministers are of the opinion that it poses too much of a threat to our current government, which is a kingdom. It would be better instead to impose restrictions and increase control. So leadership modifier, we gain 1 in dissent and the Hashemites lose 5 popularity, or the Hashemites gains 2 popularity and loses 2 organization. Well, I'm not all about that dissent. That lowers our industrial capacity. It seems a bit extreme. So we'll see what that did in our political spectrum. The Hashemites, our paternal autocrat, is kind of on par and actually outpacing our ruling party, the Islamic Dawa party, the social conservative, which is what our head of state is. So it almost looks like these guys are starting to form up. Now, I don't know if that would force us to become fascists and join the Axis, because if it did, then all of a sudden, all of the eyes of France and the United Kingdom would say, oh, really? You're going to join with them now? Bam. And they would just overrun us. It wouldn't be that good. If we could maintain an impartial sort of stance, that would be okay. But we would miss out on the things that the United Kingdom is sending us as a puppet member. Though, to be honest, I'm not sure exactly how much the United Kingdom does send us when it's all said and done. Let's take a look and see what we've got going. So we're still the puppet. Our highest threat is Germany. Our neutrality is 70%. Their neutrality is 70%. Well, it's the same thing because we are them. They are they. They are the men in black. So we're 70% neutral. If the political party comes to power and we start losing our impartialness, I don't know if we can break away. So it'll be interesting to see if we just get absolutely overrun by the United Kingdom and then told, hey, you're our puppet again. I mean, that might be a thing. It would be a quick turnaround, that's for sure. We're struggling to build a factory, more or less, any new infantry. We do have the manpower. 56,000 people are ready to go because we have service by requirement. We could get some more units on our borders to help sort of pad any invasion that's coming in here. But, you know, we're supporting the war effort by staying put, I guess you could say. We do have an air base that the Allies could use if they needed to send some air power over here to take on Persia or Saudi Arabia or Turkey. But that's that may be something for the future. All right, let's take a look at technology. So we're looking at June and July, and then early August, you know, we turn 2 around fairly quickly, get 1 a little bit after that, and then that's the slow burner with the anti-tank. It'd be nice to get some more leadership points. We need 4 total, and we've got 3.3. If we could just get an extra 0.7 leadership, we could research 4 things at full speed. And hopefully this computer that we're researching, the computing machine, mechanical computing machine, will improve how well we can do that. You can see that mechanical computing needs to be at level 2 in order to get the electronic computing machine, and that's in 1941 anyway. So if we wanted to, we could go to the next step of computers so we can work down the electronic computing machine. We don't need to worry about encryption, decryption. We don't have anyone on our borders really trying to see what we've got, and to be honest, we don't have that much anyway. Education might not be a bad thing either. We're good on manpower. Attrition, we're fine for now, as well as combat medicine, because we're not actively engaged in anything. So we're researching what I think is best for the current situation. It's almost May here. We are on pause for that little bit, reading that tooltip. So now that we're actually going, let's see if that did anything to the Hashemites. So events 3.7, it says, and repression plus 10%. Distance from organization value, 53 and 30%. Let's see, distance from. What do you mean distance from? That I want to know. We do have a democratic sort of party here. But yeah, the fascist regime, the Hashemites here, they might turn. You know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Hashemites in place as far as our politics go. That may be where some of that influence is coming from. It was a little bit clearer in Hearts of Iron 4 whenever you assigned a member who boosted the support of fascism, democracy, or communism. It made it really easy to say, our country is going down this path. This is kind of, I would imagine, the same thing. If we replace all of these people with Hashemites, or the Arab Fantastic Front? Where is that even? The Arab Fascistic Front? Fascists? So that's right there. So yeah, they're not even a Hashemite, it doesn't seem. They're only 3% of the population. So I don't know if we have any Hashemites. Yeah, it looks like these two are. Carpet bombing doctrine and naval doctrine, so... You know, the political game is not something I'm too familiar with in this game. You know, just playing it for the first time here. Not sure what all that is. Oh, crap. So, looks like Norway has got the invasion on. A few German armies are along here. It doesn't look like Norway is putting up much of a fight. Now, Finland should be a member of the Allies, yes. An Allies member with claims on the Soviet Union. They're embargoing people. I mean, that's fine, but I mean, shouldn't you help out your buddy? Shouldn't... I know they don't want to give up their front, but, I mean, for crying out loud, you've got an open front here that you could try to help take Sweden back as a good buddy old pal. Interesting, interesting. Let's see how the United States is doing. The United States is, let's see, our neutrality at 7, their neutrality is still 100%. So they are staying out of this war. Even though Germany is their biggest threat, the United States still doesn't want anything to do with the war itself. Probably still recovering from the Great Depression. And we're almost a year and a half away from the Pearl Harbor historic bombing, which will drop the United States neutrality down to nothing and get them really excited to go to war. So we might see the United States start providing manpower and tools and all that good stuff here in the future. We're still on track for August 12th, so we're 3 months away, 1/4 of the year, and we can get that factory done. It would be nice if we got a boost in power. That way we got a few days production with extra IC, because we're not going to move off of one IC dedicated to the upgrades. The upgrades should be done sooner rather than later. 75% there, 66% there, then that infantry division is done. Our motorized is 63, 48, and 85. So yeah, some of these are going to finish up very soon. Some have a little bit to go. Those small arms will finish up soon. And then that one still has a little bit to go. Those are all fully upgraded. Those are all fully upgraded, and all of these guys are fully upgraded. And by the time that rolls around, I don't think we're going to know Infantry Anti-Tank 2 for the next upgrade. So you know, we won't be spending much time upgrading like we did in the last episode, where right as the upgrades got all done, we researched a new technology, and then everyone needed those upgrades from then on. So we were sort of spinning our wheels a little bit. So keeping the industrial capacity set to 1, providing these upgrades should be the best course of action. Speaking of action, how is Norway holding up? The headquarters divisions are running around like a chicken with your head off. It looks like they're trying to seize this port. Let's see, that's not the port there. Some infrastructure is getting bombed in that. Where is their port? I mean, that would be it, right? The naval base? This is a naval base from which our fleets can operate, but I don't see where that naval base is being. Right there. Well, I don't think it's a naval base that our fleets can do now, as it is taken by German forces. Looks like von Tagen-Hanstein is on the run, being pressured by an unknown unit of unknown size. Our knowledge isn't too awful good, but we do have some Danish troops moving in, though that's the puppet of Germany, so not good for the allies in the Scandinavian countries, and Finland is so focused on their eastern border and the threat from the Soviet Union that they are not budging a bit either. Do they consider themselves the highest threat of the Soviet Union? Oh no, no. The Finland says Germany, which is a good bet, because I mean they're right here. You know, their puppet is next door. But it looks like their commanders do not want to move off of that front. So they might feel that the Soviet Union is going to move soon. But I mean, even the Soviet Union feels that Germany is the biggest threat. Their neutrality is at 75% though. But yeah, things not looking well. Germany has decided to move into Belgium. I believe he declared that at the end of the last episode. French troops are flooding in. So we've got French and Belgian troops. A few with low organization. We don't know what is on the German front. Hopefully they can withstand. We've got the United Kingdom and French troops holding the Maginot Line. And as far as Italy goes, Italy has not moved on France either, with those massive land forts, a level 5 land fort there, a level 3 land fort there, and a level 5 land fort there. So very difficult to attack into the mountains and with a fort. You know, I don't think Italy is going to be cheeky and try to squeeze someone up in there. I mean, it would be tempting, but then they can just, you know, if they wanted to open up the line, they could poke in just a bit. Switzerland should be completely neutral, 100%, and indeed they are. Grant's military access to France is the only thing, and they're drifting toward the Axis, but not really. They're also being pulled by the Allies at the same pace, and a little less by the Comintern, so they'll stay like right here in that breadbasket, not really going to involve themselves much. So I don't know what Germany is going to do here. That's a lot of French and a lot of Belgians. We know they're going to wreck Finland, and in fact, yeah, they're making a beeline now. Denmark and Germany are punching through. Let's take a look at the victory points. They've captured 2 victory points here. The next victory point's right here in Narvik. So if I was them, I would be pushing to Narvik as fast as I could. There isn't even a fort there, and even a level 3 air base, or a naval base, with an airstrip and an anti-aircraft gun. So that seems to be the way to go. Now, yeah, now Denmark realizes the error of their, or Norway realizes the error of their ways, and they're going to try to fortify that victory point, but it's a little bit too late, if you ask me. This guy seems to be playing on borrowed time, though. In Hearts of Iron 4, I don't know if it's the same with 3, but if this headquarters company were to move in and sever that supply line, these troops would run out of fuel and all kinds of crap very quickly. But it looks like they're not putting up much of a fight. These units are just marching through, opening up that supply line a bit, and it's not looking good for them. I mean, our supply line isn't good by any stretch of the imagination, but that's because we're focusing on our production instead of providing all kinds of supply. And I think the only people who are affected by the supply are the headquarters division, because everyone else has their full supplies that they need. So once we can get an extra factory, we might be able to contribute some of that. So we're making plenty of consumer goods, very little are needed. The upgrades needed are dropping down. It only needs 1.6, so now more upgrades are going to these guys, 97.8. So we can focus solely on a few of these divisions that need upgrades, 27 and 89. I mean, things are coming around. We might be able to shift the production soon away from upgrades and boost it all into our factory production. See if we can get some sort of boost. We lost 2 days of build time, but we're, you know, less than 2 months away, finally, from our factory. We started building this. I wish it said when we started building this, because it's been years. I think we started building in like 36, 37, something like that. As soon as we researched that tech, we started building it, and it's been nice. 15% IC with some mechanical knowledge. All right, so we want that. That is a 1942, so we do not want that researched as of yet. So what do we do? We're almost done with the machine. We can do, I mean, 10% on the base is only another 0.7. That would help in the grand scheme of things. But I think we need to work on some of our other warfare equipment. Infantry support, at least level 2. So that's a 1936 tech. We'll take it. And we'll put that at the top. That way we won't be bum rushed when the anti-tank weapons come in. We'll have some time to fully upgrade our units. And then using that extra IC, we will head towards the factory. And then with that extra IC, then we can delve some more upgrades or upgrade speed to these guys. 95.4 on their light artillery. Yeah, things are going to start really coming down as far as the upgrades needed. And then we can just adjust that demand as it falls. So feeling pretty good. A lot better than Finland will be feeling, I guarantee. I still don't know why they haven't moved on that victory point. That thing is sticking out like a sore thumb. I mean, it's 2 divisions. It looks like, I don't know my NATO symbols, but it looks sort of like infantry and maybe motorized. I mean, that's just asking for it. Just go and take it. Because I don't believe it's like Europa, where once you hit a piece of land, you have to siege it down. All right, we have our mechanical computing machine. Outstanding. That'll be technology efficiency. So, we need, in order to get to the electronic computing machine, we need to do level 2. Research efficiency +4, and then another +5, and we get some practical knowledge. I like the fact that that is also industry engineering. Might help us out in the grand scheme of things. Or we could focus on another piece of weaponry. So we're working on anti-tank 2. We're working on infantry support 2. We have small arms 2. So light artillery 2 is the only one that we really need to start focusing on with desert warfare equipment. So we'll go ahead and take that. Our Yeah, we'll finish up the industrial efficiency. That should be 1942 once that is all researched up. And we'll get as much efficiency as we can cooking through here. But all good things. All good things. Total economic mobilization, 15% improved technology. It would certainly be nice if we could get that bump. And we're almost breaking even with the upgrades, 1.35 versus the 1 that we are putting in. And there were a few divisions that were almost done, that were nearly done here. 42%, and then that one will be done. Then we have, those guys are all upgraded. 73 and 31, 85 and 44, and 16. Yeah, that poor division here hasn't gotten much of anything. So now we're starting to focus on them. Everything is good there. There's more industrial capacity efficiency, plus 15%. So, that should be a 1942 tech, and it is. We are researching the 3 things that we need to get desert warfare. So we're essentially sitting, waiting on... We might be able to do the computing machine, and then work on that research efficiency there. Better than education, but I mean, that is more leadership. We can research something faster if we do that. And I think overall that may be the best. So we'll put that on. So September of 40, and then December, and February. So we do have a lot of time before the next upgrade can tick. And then we will fill all of our prerequisites for desert infantry, desert equipment, which would be very good. And yeah, everything is clever. I'm just waiting on the notification that Norway has tapped out. It kind of looks like they made a centralized push on their last victory point. But I mean, Germans have a wide front. Doesn't look like it's being defended too often. They may be pushing back right here. There is a small cell of Norway here. Interestingly enough, I don't know if that's a port. It's a factory, and there's infrastructure. Would it be prudent to... Wouldn't it have been prudent to get a port? Not sure. You know, I don't know what the Finnish strategy is in the grand scheme of things with all of this stuff, but I'm sure the AI knows better than I do. Still waiting on the Soviet Union. It'll be up to Germany to break that non-aggression pact. And I don't know if there are any German troops along this eastern border or if they're going to honor the non-aggression pact. But it looks like Germany is not making any gains in Belgium. And of course, they're not making any gains against the Maginot Line. Probably getting wrecked. This is just like one big standoff. This is trench warfare right here. Both sides are dug in, and neither side is moving. So it looks like the northern go-around strategy is a little bit tougher. Belgium is focusing all of its efforts here. So good on them. I don't think Germany is doing any other movements. Where does Yugoslavia fall into all of this? Their threat is 128 against Germany. It looks like they're independent, and they're drifting toward the Allies. So it is Yemen pulling them up, I wonder? Interesting indeed. Combat in Greece. What is going on here? So Italy is moving in on Greece. And Greece as a whole is at war with the Axis, but they're not a member of the Allies. You know, Greece, I would have came to the Allies if I were you. They're drifting hard toward the Allies, but they may be completely and utterly wrecked by the time that even comes to fruition. But they haven't stepped up, and holy crap, that thing was flying. They've definitely got some aircraft patrolling the local airspace, that is for sure. Using our air base in Baghdad as a refueling zone, no doubt. So August 12th. So we're less than 1 month away from our factory being built. Finally, upgrades are now coming almost dead even. We'll almost need one to provide the one needed for upgrades. And then once that second factory comes in, we can decide to either build another factory in quick succession to try to get more industrial capacity, or perhaps recruit a group of guys and get them on, you know, the other borders. Like right here in the north would be a good place for them. Just sort of spread them out, especially along the Saudi Arabian front. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on our east. So we need about 9 divisions in order to really shore up our borders. But this one can move away from the French border and head to the eastern front, just on Persia's coast there. Arriving in Kirkuk the 29th of July, so in 4 days' time, they'll be here, and then moving into Salamaya. So slowly but surely, 4 kilometers per hour. They're walking. You know, they're just an infantry brigade, but they're moving. So are you not assigned to anything? Just the Baghdad HQ, huh? Well, we'll assign that hierarchy then. I mean, might as well. So he can get the bonus from the headquarters. The Fortress Buster. Yeah, looks like the United Kingdom is using our air bases. I don't know how strong Persia is. If we did have some spies, we could see, but we're not supporting spies at all. We're doing all research all the time to get as much as we can out of it. And yeah, we are a few weeks away now. Just a scant few weeks, so this episode, we will have our factory, finally. And then we can actually give it the upgrades that it needs. If it's over 1, we can dedicate a bit to it. And then we can actually ask ourselves, what is it that we want to build? And I think a division would not be a bad thing. Cavalry? I'm not entirely sure. Soft attack, hard attack. Defensiveness, it looks like just sheer infantry is better. Better air defense, better toughness, better defensiveness. Can attack the air, but I don't see anyone bringing air power on top of us. Anti-tank might not be a bad thing if the Soviet Union decides to come. It has 1 soft and 2 hard attack versus the 3 soft, no hard attack. We'll make them regulars. Maybe an artillery. We don't have any artillery here. It moves at 4. There is no suppression. It consumes 1 supply, so they use a little bit more supplies. They don't use any fuel. They use 100 officers. 4.05 industrial capacity needed to produce that, I'm pretty sure at 100%. It uses 1.3 of the manpower, and it'll take 155 days, I assume. But I think some artillery on our front line would not be bad, and with this extra industrial capacity, we could swing it and get some artillery on the front lines. The Netherlands has been accepted into the Allies. Oh, really? So that is going to draw the ire of Germany. They're going to have to turn away from Belgium and focus there. Looks like the Netherlands was prepared on their front line. Netherlands are going to sort of catch them with their pants down. It's like as soon as the Netherlands said, okay, we're in, they were moving. a lot of headquarters divisions, you know, good infantry. And despite all of this occupation, Norway has not folded, which more power on them. Their neutrality is 100%. Surrender progress, 57. 50% of their important cities, and a national unity at 87. So they're pretty unified, but they will probably fall like a sack of potatoes soon. All right, did we get industrial capacity? We did. Take a look at that. We have 9 industrial capacity now. That is amazing. IC is finally wasted, believe it or not. So we've got 6.5 that we can allocate to production, like instantly. That is amazing. All right, so let's get to it. Let's build something. And I think we want to build an artillery. Can we boost that with infantry? In infantry, artillery, infantry. 155 days, 10.36 IC. Okay. 7.2 for a batch of infantry and artillery. Let's just do that. Infantry and artillery will make one group. And we'll put everything into that we can. So in a few months' time, we will have an infantry and artillery as the... Okay, so the supply need went up, but that's fine. Reinforcement went up just a skosh. Let's pull that back. And then we will slowly go down on the upgrades as needed. So we're back down to 5 industrial capacity. So it's like our factory was built. I mean, we do have a factory. It's been damaged. It will take time to repair. So who bombed? It's already damaged. How the crap did my factory, my one lone factory, get bombed? Is Germany over here? I mean, why? It is built to level 1, but will take time to repair. Then it needs to do that. Is that in the production queue? You know, I'm not exactly sure. We'll scale down our upgrade need. But that sucks. We just built a factory. It's like, yep, this is our factory. Boom, it's damaged. You telling me that a member of the Axis flew overhead, dodged our anti-tank gun or anti-aircraft guns, and hit our factory? That sucks. Why build a factory at all if it's not going to do anything? We work so hard and come so far, and in the end, it doesn't even matter. Tell you what, we'll scale back on our consumer good need. So hopefully our factory will be repaired. That's building more industrial capacity. It's cheaper IC costs than the infantry and artillery are. It's like I kind of want to get these guys out so we can support. But then again, if we don't have the factories to do it, especially if... There we go. Now we're getting some IC back. At least we should. The factory is rebuilt. May take a second, but we should get that industrial capacity back. There we go. Yes, indeedy. So base 6, available 5. But we are slowly upgrading, kicking our production up. That should increase the efficiency up some. And then we can focus on another factory once we get these divisions ready to go. But that's just, that's terrible. So the autocratic charmer that we are, we only have 5 available base IC. But that should be offset from our mobilization, our improved technology. We should be getting like 5 point something out of it, if not 6. Because do we want to wait a whole year and a few months to get another artillery division and an infantry division out? I mean, we don't have any defenses, really. Now we're kicking at 6. Now y'all are doing the work. That's what I like to see. And we can scale back the upgrade need. And then we're back down to 5. So yeah, it's the power that we're running into. Apparently the production plant doesn't make power, and I have no idea how to make power. It would certainly be nice if we could get some energy and increase it, you know, so we can keep our factories running. But it's like we're in rolling blackouts. We have no energy to give. Supply should be good, though. You all should be getting everything you need. Almost 90%. But it kind of sucks. It doesn't make any sense to build more factories if we're not going to have the power to sustain it. Let's see. IC is the base total modified by technology ministered. Wasted IC. We're not wasting any IC. We're going over. Each IC needs 2 energy, 1 metal, and 1/2 rare metal each day. So we're trying to boost it. Changes by 0.74 every day, and then we lose it. We turn on our factory just for a bit, and it's like, it's making, and then no. I tell you. Like, if we could pull some power from here, that would be amazing. I wish we could ask, you know, the United Kingdom, hey, you guys aren't using Bidyat Sham, are you? Because we definitely could. And unless you want to give us energy to support us, which it kind of looks like they are, we are having spurts where we are getting a lot of capacity out of it, and we don't need as many upgrades, so we can kick up the production. Our supplies will be good. We need 0, so that's even more there. We're getting our consumer goods done. Every little skosh helps when it comes to building these things out. But we need to keep power coming in. That would be the one thing that, you know, I would trade for if I could. But we're just at the mercy of our poor overlords. Yeah, as long as our descent don't go up high enough to affect that industrial capacity, the better. Germany still hasn't folded Norway. Interestingly enough, Germany is about to fold the Netherlands, if not already. Their independence was guaranteed by the United Kingdom, and they are only 28% surrendered. It looks to me that, or these have a lot of war score to them. No? I mean, interesting. But the Netherlands hasn't surrendered yet, but they've got all of their territory done. I believe it's only a matter of time. Then Germany can have a much wider approach into Belgium and ultimately into France. Liberia is in the Allies. Good job, Liberia. Hopefully Liberia can trade us some power. I'm not sure if they're an economic powerhouse or a powerhouse. It would certainly be nice. So we're looking at July, less than a year. We're at 45% progress. We're getting our supplies done. Hopefully we can get our supply need sorted out. We leak within the government because, of course, someone within the government has been leaking sensitive information. A 60%, let's see, increase your efforts. We don't know what the percent chance of is. Oh, just as a whole, Hashemite lose 4 organization and 5 popularity. So if we look at our, yeah, it's at 31%. It's really boosting up here. The Hashemites are. Let's lower some of their organization and popularity. Let's give that a try. I don't think it worked. We doubled our efforts, but it is coming around. It's coming around indeed. So an interesting development where our government might not agree with our ally overlord, and then we really will be up the creek as far as power and supply is concerned. Hopefully we can, you know, float our infantry and artillery need right here so we can build the next factory. Yeah, we need a crap ton of supplies. We need reinforcements even. How are things on the upgrade front before I call it an episode? All those guys are upgraded. All of those guys are upgraded. All of those guys are upgraded. They're still upgrading light artillery, the small arms, and the anti-tank weapons. Those guys are all good. And those guys are all good. So it sort of looks like we have one division that is currently upgrading. And I thought it was these guys. Yeah, right there, the 3rd Infantry Brigade is the only people that we are supplying with upgrades. So yeah, we'll just continuing on. We need some consumer goods produced, please. Don't know why that changed. So yeah, Norway about to fold. Sweden is now a puppet. The Netherlands haven't folded yet, but it looks like they're about ready to. And Belgium is getting pushed in. I mean, we've got plenty of money. I wish we could just buy some power. Just buy power. Keep our factories up and running, please. I wish there was a technology we could research to improve the power. And it may be the nuclear reactor. And that's 1943. Atomic research does nothing for us but gives us some nuclear physics, the atomic research industry, and then allows construction of a reactor. All right. Refining efficiency, metal production, rare metals production, energy production 5%. Well, I'll be. We looked at that a little bit, I thought. Because our base is 10. We might shift focus then and get energy or oil to energy. Just sheer energy production. Cold processing technology. You know what? Let's do that. Education will stay a little bit research, but we will do energy production. Go. Coal processing plant. We may be able to build some sort of energy producer here. So we'll work on that. So less than a year away for that. Hopefully we can float some of this energy cost, especially if we break away independent. I definitely don't want to be out of energy, but we're making 50% of our 50% efficiency of our industrial capacity. We just don't have the energy to run it. Unfortunately, we need a whole lot more energy. But that's going to do it for me in this episode of Hearts of Iron 3, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.